Ah, yes. The age-old question has reared its head again. Who to forever summon in 2022? With the 4th anniversary of Grand Summers Global finally releasing, we have of course got a brand new forever summon that works a little bit differently than the forever summons we know in the past, but pretty much the fundamentals are all still there, so I don't really have to talk about how to forever summon again. But this forever summon has some new additions added to its pool, meaning that there are even more top tier units to pick from than ever. So it could be kind of daunting. It could be kind of challenging to decide which one would be your best. And I'm just going to tell you straight up what I think would be the best for pretty much anybody and what my order of importance would be. One thing that I can give you though before we even go into this video is that if you are going into this forever summon, I would recommend to have multiple goals. The reason for that is because if you're only going for one specific character, it could get really hard, especially since it's only lasts a month, to even get close or even have a chance of pulling that character. So I would say it would be really good if you go in with about like 4, maybe 5 characters that you're hoping to get, and then whichever one you get, you probably just summon them right off the bat unless you really just want that one character. At the end of the day, it's up to you, but that is one thing that I cannot stress enough, and I highly recommend if you take anything away from this video, make sure you're going into it with multiple goals so you don't get disappointed. Now, as you can see here, these are all of the characters that will be in this forever summon for water, fire, earth, light, and dark. A lot of good staples here, a lot of newer units that came out actually last year, and I know a lot of people are going to be sniping some of these. And every year in the past, the top tier units to always pick from this forever summon was always, without a doubt, Vox, Thetis, and Berwick. However, this time around, I think we're going to add a few to that list as well. But first and foremost, let me talk to my new players real quick and tell y'all what would be some of the best options for you guys to get. Since you are new, and I'm just going to assume that you hardly have no characters or probably any character from this forever summon, I'm going to tell you some of the best characters to look out for that you absolutely should probably prioritize more so than the others. At the top of the tier, it's going to be still the Berwick, Vox, and Thetis. The reason for this, Berwick is an insane unit still. Archgen, does damage. He does a little bit of everything. Also damage buffs as well, so there's a lot of good stuff with them, which makes him, of course, an extremely high priority for newer players. Vox is Vox. He's 100% crit buff, lots of damage, has heals in his kit, has a 5-star support slot, very versatile, can really synergize with any team that he's put on just because he's so well-rounded. And then Thetis, being the king that he is at tanking, if you're getting into the game and you feel like you need a tank, there's really no one better than him at the moment on global. Use Thetis and you go against any fight that doesn't have like shield killer or demon killer, and you're probably just gonna breeze through it because Thetis is ridiculously strong. Now, as for some of the newer additions that I actually would like to add to this, is that I'm gonna be putting Haruto and Lisa in this as well. If Juno was actually in this, we of course would be putting Juno, but she's not. So Haruto, the reason why he is here is because this guy is pretty much the GS version of Mako. If you've seen the videos, read the guides, saw other people play, there's probably one unit that keeps reoccurring in most people's team comps, and that is Mako. Mako is just insane, and her being a crossover unit means that she's extremely limited, so newer players have no chance of getting her. However, Haruto is pretty much the GS version of Mako. Not entirely, but it's pretty much the best we got. This meant Haruto buffs up your stats passively, gives you Archgen, gives you more Archgen if you're a human, and also gives you percentage healing based on your max HP. The only downside of Haruto is that he is type B Archgen, so he won't be able to stack with other type B Archgeners, so do be careful of that, but overall, super top tier. Highly recommend him to any new player. Same thing with Lisa. The reason why Lisa's here is because she synergizes really well with like a lot of characters. She trivializes a lot of the content. The main problem with her is that if you use her as an Archgener, she is a type B Archgener if I'm not mistaken, so she won't stack with other type B units. As for some runner-ups that I would put here for new players, it would be something like Sistina. I just don't think she's as required as some of these other characters, especially for a newer player. You may get more benefit out of, the ones that I recommended apart from Sistina, but if you wind up getting her, you may want to consider because she is still an insanely good unit, really strong damage buffs, really good survivability. She just goes crazy. And then the next character I would recommend is like, if you want to get a ramping damage dealer, Dark Cilia is still in the game. She still, pumps out the deeps, very strong. But at the same time, I don't know if I really want to recommend this as a runner-up because as a new player, you definitely should not be prioritizing her over the other choices that I mentioned before. And that's pretty much it. You guys can look at the forever summon and see what else you guys may want, but that's what I would recommend for newer players. There may be some characters that some other people may recommend, like Finn or Ram and stuff like that, but me personally, I think those characters will help you out the most if you manage to get them as a new player. For my intermediates and vets, we're going to do this just all in one. You guys probably already know what you're going for. If not, you know, I don't think I have to explain it to y'all. Who in this list is extremely top tier for us? I think the top tiers kind of changed just a little bit for veteran players, but at the same time, not entirely. I think that one of the characters that absolutely is like top of the list for anybody, especially if you have Juno, is Lisa. If you can get Lisa and Juno together as a vet or an intermediate, you kind of have an established account, you're gonna just melt through so many bosses and be able to cheese so much content with those two units. Not only just that, also Haruto as well is very high on the priority list just because he's an overpowered support and we all like doing big deeps. Of course, as for the others, they're still the same, you know, Vox, Berwick, Thetis, they're all still the same. I think they'll all have priority as well. If you don't have any of them, I think that you absolutely should try to pick up one of these if they wind up showing up. And another character that I think may have a little bit more priority than maybe like a newer player is characters like Miranda, because Miranda is very, very synergy heavy with magic damage dealers, which as a newer player, you may not have too many, but as a veteran player and intermediate, you may have a lot of magic damage dealers, which in return would make Miranda, I think, pretty appealing. Stacking magic damage up, insane, really strong if you know, use her in like a raid or something or any of the boss battles that you would be able to use her in. She can tank really well. She buffs up your damage. She makes you hit harder. There's really not a downside to her, apart from I think that she would be better off if she had another defense slot, but she's still okay with the defense slot she has. And then of course, you know, units like Decilia and stuff like that I think are also really nice to pick up as a veteran player. If you don't have Juno and you need a ramping damage dealer, definitely Decilia is still like second in line to that. Really strong ramping damage dealer, still slow on the startup of course, but overall, if you're lacking in one, need an in-game damage dealer, she is it. As for some of the more niche picks that I would go with here is that, you know, if you want to get Dark Finn maybe, I don't know if Commander Forte and Dark Kane are in this. I have to relook at the list, but they are, you know, you may want to get one to complete like your Mono Dark. Also, if you're into light nuking, units like Victoire, Aluz, Sony J, stuff like that are also maybe, you know, some really top tier picks that you want to get. And then I guess for like fire and water, it'd be stuff like Fire Roy and like Water Malia or Weaver and stuff like that, just because they will help out your teams as well. I don't think there's anything else that I really need to say for this Forever Summon. I might be forgetting some units, which I'm almost positive I am, because we didn't talk about like Batiste and all that, but instead of me going through each element, I thought it was just better overall. As a quick summary, give you some quick information and then go on with your day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Good luck to all my people out there. As always, tell me what you're going to be going for down below in the comment section. As for me, I said it in the last video, but I'll say it again here. I'm going for Lisa or Miranda. Personally, those are the two units that I really want and that I'm currently seeking. And I really hope I get one of them. I really do, because the last two Forever Summons, I've been getting shafted. Also, another thing to point out too is that this is Forever Summon Part 1, so it's possible we get a Part 2 where you can get another character from this. So you may want to plan around that. Of course, nothing's guaranteed. Don't take my word on that completely, but I'm almost positive they're going to do another Forever Summon, because usually when they say Part 1, they have a Part 2 after. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, man. If you want to see any more GS videos, of course, they're gonna be popping up on your screen right now. And before you leave, don't forget to drink water.